Okay, high interest rates and inflation have seen a record number of women flooding into full-time work across the country, and in some areas at twice the rate of their male counterparts. Amanda is the founder and CEO of Western Sydney Women, and in general, you're an influential advocate for females in the workforce. What's your take on this? Is this a good thing, or is it bad if they've been forced, essentially?
Well, that's right. That's the point. If it's a choice, like if they're choosing to go into that, fantastic. But we also need to consider, in Western Sydney in particular, women that even need to or want to work full-time, they don't have access to affordable childcare to do so. So it's not a luxury for them of saying, oh, I'll choose to go full-time or not. They literally cannot. Those who are struggling, either on part-time, they want to go full-time, the local council doesn't have a childcare available. And if there is a spot available, it's too expensive with a private operator around the corner, or if you've got 2 children or 3. So it's near impossible. So congratulations, and great for those who can, if it's by choice. But those in Western Sydney who genuinely want to can't.
And even like as a single mother especially, and I am blessed, I earn a good living. Childcare for my 4-year-old is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, and beyond childcare, also the domestic work that happens at home. Whenever I see women and that go, you know, they've got young children and it's full-time, that's them just taking on. They're now doing 2 full-time jobs. They're doing their full-time job at home. Until we have social change in the way that we share domestic labour, and I know it is getting better, but I still am not seeing, look, it's not something that can only happen socially. It can only be something, you know, you can't legislate really, although you can.
Hey, we could try.
You can encourage with paternity leave. But when I think about that, but I do wonder to what extent it's related to the lockdowns, women being at home more, having to do all the education of their children, being around their partners who are also working at home, noisily on the phone with their work. I wonder if women actually have thought, I'm doing all this work, why do I not get paid for it?
Can I tell you, before I had kids, people would say, oh, being a mother's the hardest job in the world, and I'd kind of agree and laugh to be polite, but thinking you should try television or media or whatever else. Now that I am a mother, it is without doubt my break is going to work, and it's a fairly intense couple of jobs that I do, and that's my break. So it's hard work. Well, speaking of, a fed-up Sydney, or the opposite, construction boss has slammed Australia's workers as lazy and entitled, arguing they should pick up extra hours if they are struggling with the cost of living. And is this harsh, or is this to some extent true?
Look, I think just to a large extent true. I've been freelance for 25 years, so I've never been able to rest on my laurels or think I know where the next money is coming from. And every finance book you read, from The Barefoot Investor back to Noel Whittaker, they will make the point that you are your best resource. If you know, you can always, we have this, you know, we have tons of jobs out there. You can go and get a second job really easily. And I agree with him. If you're sitting there and you're expecting it to come to you.
Lamenting woe is me.
And it's not just the money. There's a lot to be said for the sense of capability that comes from doing things well, for being a hustler, for being on the front foot, for being, you know, having that agency, whatever, you know, man, woman, whatever. Owning your own monetary kind of show is a great thing to be able to do. So it's not just the money. It's about, you know, kicking goals in terms of you know, how you feel about yourself.
Yeah, that sense of accomplishment. They're missing out on that. They're actually being robbed with that attitude. And one point he made was really interesting. He said they will point at, I like your car, I like your house, but they don't want to put in the work to get it. And he's like, well, I did that.
They don't like the 20 hours a day.
They don't like the 6-day, 7-day a week to do that. So, well, that's what it takes. So I think we need to educate a generation that have been brainwashed by social media that all you need is a TikTok account to make money, and say this is the pathway to how you're doing it.
It's not just social media. It's things like Married at First Sight and The Bachelor, where they think they
well, if you watch that, you've got problems.
Who was it, the host of the movie show that, God, she had some funny, Margaret.
Oh, yes,
that was hilarious.
You can look it up because I don't have time to show it or have it prepared, but look it up. What's her last?
Margaret Pomerantz.
That's the one. She said some brilliant things, and if you're slightly older and less cool and hip, you will love what she said.